Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Diaries series, the series where we talk about all things blogging and photography. And as usual, I'm your host, Onyi Moss. Also guys, this show is a podcast, so you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher and SoundCloud. With that said, I have my brew in hand as usual and I'm having a cup of tea. I do miss having a cup of tea because I've only just come back from Paris. Paris is so beautiful, guys. Expensive, but beautiful. Really happy that I got a chance to visit, and I'm feeling really inspired to create some amazing content now that I'm back. So yeah, and while in Paris, I didn't get to drink a lot of tea. So yeah, I'm excited to be back to drink tea. Not that they didn't have tea, but I was mostly drinking coffee while I was out because, you know, coffee is nice when you take pictures of it. I don't know, that's just the way I've seen it. So yes, I was drinking lots of coffee and taking pictures of coffee as well. I took to Instagram yesterday in a post asking you guys what you would like me to talk about, because I noticed that not many questions were left in the previous episode. So some of you did leave some questions on Instagram, and there was one that I thought were fitting really well for this episode, and I've gone with it, and that is, what are the challenges that I faced when starting out as a lifestyle blogger? Now this is a topic that I really wanted to talk about in the past, but for some reason I forgot about it, so this is a really good question for me. So one of the main challenges that I would say I faced when starting out as a lifestyle blogger was not knowing exactly what to blog about in the lifestyle scene, because with lifestyle there's so many things that fall under lifestyle. You have health and wellness, you have beauty, you have travel, you have, I don't know, fashion. All of this is part of your lifestyle. Lifestyle is like the main umbrella where all these other blogging categories like come under. So it can be very broad per se, but it was actually deciding what it is that I wanted to do with regards to the lifestyle. So I ended up going for fashion, travel, things like beauty, but not very often, and just showcasing what I get up to in my everyday life. I found that was a lot easier. But with lifestyle, there are so many things that fall under the umbrella of lifestyle, and it was deciding which ones to go for. In order to get to that point, I've had to do a lot of experimenting, like taking pictures of different things before I realized actually I would like to focus on fashion and some beauty, some travel, mostly travel this year for me, guys. I do want to do a bit of traveling more this year, yeah. So mostly fashion, traveling, and just generally sharing what I get up to on a daily basis if I can. So that being said, as a blogger, you have to put out content consistently, and that's the way I've seen it, in order to gain the exposure that you desire for people to come to your blog and check it out all the time. Now, in order to do that, this is where I faced another challenge, because I'm not a big spender, so I didn't necessarily know where to get free products from. Like, I knew a lot of bloggers were getting free products from brands, but I didn't know how to get free products from brands. It didn't take me long to find out how to go about this, because after just doing a quick Google search, you guys, I'm telling you, Google has a lot of the answers. All you have to do is type in the question in Google, and you'll be amazed what will come up. So I Googled where to get free product as a blogger, and I came across numerous websites where you could register as a blogger, and depending on your reach and following, brands will offer you free products in exchange for a review. So one of those websites that I can remember off the top of my head is one called the Blogger Program. Is one that anybody can register with. I believe I registered with them when I had like 3,000 followers on Instagram, and yes, I was getting free products from them. What you would have to do is go through all the campaigns that are there. Most of them are not paid, it's just brands offering you free products in exchange for you to review on Instagram or on your blog. So that was one of the challenges that I faced, but then I was able to find a place where I could source for products that I could review on my blog. But that being said, if you cannot find products, before I could find products to review on my blog, I was making do with what I already had. So if you go through my old Instagram pictures, that is where you would see me use the same items over and over again, only because naturally I'm not a big spender. So I was never going to go out and splash out on products. So what I just did was make the most of what I already had. Hence why you will see a lot of things being featured over and over again in my old pictures before I started to get free products from brands. So I would say make use of the things that you already have and perfect your craft. I was focusing more on improving the quality of my photography, and that took the forefront, and I felt like if I can get my pictures looking really professional, then it means when the products start to come along, I will be prepared to deliver to the brand, hopefully to get to a place where I will get paid, which is a place that I've gotten to right now, and I'm really happy that I took that decision. Because what I do feel is that when people start out in blogging, they do have this misconception. So what they're trying to do is that they see a blogger who has put in a lot of time and effort to get to where they are right now, and they get free products from brands, and you're probably getting paid on top of it. And someone who's about to start is like, I must compete with this blogger, and you go and you start splashing your money and buying all these things so you could compete with this blogger who has been successful, who has built their career over the years to get to where they are. And that is when you start to spend a lot of money and you're losing out because this other blogger that you're trying to be like isn't spending that much money. So I would advise you as a blogger, try to cut out cost where you can. Number one is photography. Practice your own photography. You do not need a professional photographer to take your pictures. We take all our pictures. So one of the challenges that we had to get through was learning photography as well. So I would say pick up a camera, even if it's your phone, practice with what you have until you perfect your craft. You're not going to spend money on items that you do not need because you want to keep up with a blogger but you don't know your story. So that is something that I would definitely say you need to consider, because blogging can be quite an expensive career, and you have to think like a business person when you're going into it. If not, you're gonna not succeed in the industry. So after I managed to get free products and I was getting loads of free products, it then became, how do I then turn this into a career? How do I then get paid? At first, I was heavily focusing on fashion, and fashion is great and all, fashion is really good. But one thing I did notice was that if you model yourself to be a lot more flexible in terms of your fashion, include your lifestyle, more of your lifestyle. Say for example now, yes, I'm wearing this lovely dress, it's fashionable, it's nice, it's very spring and summery, but the thing is that in spring and summer, I could go out riding a bike, and me taking a picture riding my bike then makes that more into a lifestyle post rather than me just standing and posing in the dress, which will make it strictly a fashion post as opposed to me riding my bike, which is a lifestyle post. And one thing I quickly realized is that brands do love the lifestyle post, because nowadays, you know, it gets boring standing on the street and just doing a classic, oh, look at my outfit of the day. It's not that it's not great. It is great, you know, to see people's outfit of the day. But also, it's also nice to see what people get up to, and brands really love that. It took me a while to realize that brands were more interested in lifestyle. And once I quickly realized this, I started to create my post in a way to incorporate more lifestyle. So even when I do a fashion post, I try to make it as lifestyle as possible, because I feel that way it is a lot more relatable. And what I found out is that lifestyle brands tend to spend a lot more money than fashion brands in the industry. I would say, speaking from experience, most of my most paid campaigns have come from non-fashion brands. Fashion brands do pay a lot, but I would say other brands like alcoholic brands, they do tend to pay a lot more when compared to fashion brands. That's one thing that I've noticed. So I would say another challenge that I faced was asking for money. At first, when I started out, I did not know how to ask for money, but my good friend, who's also a blogger, Samuel, shared with me a really good way to go about it, especially if you are a bit afraid and you're not confident in yourself to ask for money. She said when you're being approached by a brand and they're offering you free stuff and stuff like that, if you are interested in working with a brand, respond to them and say, oh, thank you very much. This is definitely something I'm interested in. Can you tell me what is the budget for this? So that way you're not coming out to say, I need to be paid, but you're asking, oh, so what's the budget? What's the money involved? And this is a good way to approach that because, 80% of the time there is a budget attached to that campaign, and it is very likely that you will get paid if you do ask that. And sometimes if I come back and say there's no budget, and it's up to you to say, okay, that's fine, I'm happy to do this. Or you could say, because I don't work on a gifting basis only because blogging is my full-time job and it takes me this amount of time to create the product, and then that would be an opportunity to sell yourself. I've done this quite a few times and I do end up getting paid for my work. So I would say those are the challenges that I faced, and hopefully I was able to provide solutions as to how I got around it. So I feel like that about covers it, but if you guys feel like you have more questions, you know what to do, just leave your questions in the comment box down below or tweet us at My Coffee Diaries and we will get your questions answered in upcoming episodes. I hope you found this episode useful and I will see you guys next week. Bye!